You're listening to the Hustled Up Podcast. We're Holly and Laura, besties since birth, cleaning business owners, multi-passionate doers, and founders of the Hustle Haven, a modern business education and networking collective built for fellow entrepreneurs who crave growth, support, and real connection. Now, we're your go-to girlies for the real side of entrepreneurship. We're covering wins, fails, and the messy middle. So come on in and let's talk branding, booking, burnout, and everything in between. If you're in serious need of tips, tea, total transformation, and that let's freaking go energy, you're in the right place. Grab your earbuds, turn up the volume, and let's hustle up.
Hello, hello. Welcome back to this week's episode of the Hustled Up Podcast. We are your hosts. My name is Laura.
And I'm Holly.
And get ready for a super fun, spooky Halloween episode.
Ooh.
We were thinking about dressing up, but y'all, this weekend was a lot. We were out and about all weekend. We already dressed up for Holly's Halloween party. So the best we can do is some really cute Halloween shirts. And I think it's still fun and festive. But we have a really, really fun episode topic planned for today to tie into the whole spooky theme. We are going to talk about business nightmares, the mistakes that still haunt us today. So this is going to be a vulnerable one. Holly and I are going to really share some of our real life mistakes because this just in, everybody makes mistakes. We're not perfect, and that's okay. We don't have to be afraid of our mistakes. We don't have to hide from our mistakes because, to be honest, the mistakes that we have made, they still stick with us today because we've learned from them. We have learned so much from our mistakes. It is what has allowed us to grow as people, leaders, entrepreneurs. So not only are we spilling the tea on this episode, but we're also going to talk about what lessons we've learned from this mistakes and how we would have approached the situation different today. So sit tight. This is going to be a juicy one.
If you own a home service business and you are struggling to juggle quotes, invoices, client reminders, communications across every single platform, the works, you need to stop what you're doing and listen to me right now. Jobber has been keeping my business running smooth for years. I swear by it, and I need to tell you all about it. From managing 11 technician schedules to invoicing to automated client reminders and so much more, Jobber makes my life easy. This CRM has allowed me to truly work on building my business while keeping everything organized instead of chasing down paperwork. And here's the best part. As an official Jobber brand partner, I know I am still freaking out over this myself. I have a code that is going to not only get you a 14-day free trial, but 20% off for 6 months. Just head on to go.getjobber.com/Holly. Again, that's go.getjobber.com/Holly to claim your savings. There are multiple plans to choose from that support a multitude of business sizes and budgets. So what are you waiting for? Get your business organized and get ready to scale with ease with Jobber. Again, that's go.getjobber.com/Holly. Do it today. You will not regret it. I promise.
All right, we are back. And the first thing I want to talk about, and again, we are talking about mistakes that still haunt us to this day that we have made, and they are quite spooky. And the first one is just an overall really big mistake that Holly and I made in business for many, many years. And it's not really a moment in time. It's more so just that we absolutely did not know how to hire people. And we made so many mistakes when it came to who we hired, how we interacted with them, how we showed up as leaders for them. I mean, we really, and we talk about this all the time, when we first started our business, we hired literally anybody with a pulse. And I'm not kidding. Like, you showed up with 2 legs and you could walk, you got the job, period. Like, literally, you got the job. And not only were we hiring the wrong people, which was really a big mistake, but even more so than that, we treated our employees and we spoke to them as friends. That was our whole thing. We're not just your boss, we're your friend. And that was honestly probably a bigger mistake than who we hired, because some of the people that we hired, I think we could have molded by being better leaders. But from the get-go, we were like, we're your friends. So then it really became hard to discipline. They didn't take us serious. They took advantage of us. It was just a serious nightmare when it came to employees for the first many years of our business.
Yeah, it
Like,
was a nightmare.
really.
I don't ever want to go back to that point. And
No.
we were not good leaders back then.
No.
And we've spoken about this time and time again on this podcast, but it really is something that haunts us to this day. We've been screamed at by a few employees saying, "I thought we were friends." That happened, and now we are very friendly. We're typical millennial bosses. You know what I mean? We understand people need a mental health day and that kind of stuff, but at the same time, like when it comes down to business, like it's time to get to business. And we've definitely established a leadership role here, and we've established our authority here, and luckily everybody understands that and respects that. But it was definitely tough for a while. For a few years it was like
like many years, I would say. Many years of the business, the whole first start of our business.
Yeah. So number one mistake for sure was do not, and a teachable moment here, do not tell your employees that you are their friend. Like, make sure you set that boundary. Like, keep the lines separate and don't cross them, because that's when things get really, really sloppy.
Yeah. And it's okay to be friendly with them. Like, we're super friendly and candid, and we laugh and joke with our employees. So we're not saying that you have to not have relationship with them. We do have relationship with them, really strong relationships, but it's different. It's not like, and it's not inappropriate.
And I don't even fully know how we've done it, but I think it's just, we are really good now at setting expectations right from the get-go. And the reason why I bring this up is because we have somebody who works for us who is a friend, right? So like, we knew her 12 years ago, I think. Like, we met her, and she was in like a similar friend group. We met her long before we even started our business. And she messaged me a couple of months ago and she was like, "I need a job," and I was like, I don't love this idea. But right off the get-go, I was like, this is what it's going to be like. And I like kind of told her how we run things, and I was like, we're going to bring you in for an interview like we do everybody else. And so we brought her in for an interview, and we took the risk because she seemed like very promising, a very good fit. And now she's been with us for a couple of months and she's an absolute rock star. She respects us as her bosses, but also is and when I say friend, it's not like we get together outside of work. We never really did.
No.
But like, she knows that there's a boundary there and she respects it. So, at work, like, she knows like we are the authority. And then outside of work, like, she joins me on my Twitch streams and hangs out with me and hangs out with me. That sounds weird.
Hangs out with me. No, that's right.
Hangs out
I
with
think
me.
that's right.
It sounds strange though, doesn't it?
Because you're not saying hung out. You hang out. She hangs out with me.
I'm having a Gilmore Girls moment. I've been doing a rewatch, and I'm sorry, I'm going on a quick tangent here, but there was a whole argument about, did you know that a cul-de-sac plural is coles-de-sac?
Coles-de-sac.
Coles-de-sac.
No way.
Yes.
No way.
It's not cul-de-sacs. It's coles-de-sac. And if you watch Gilmore Girls, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But the hangs out just had me feeling like I was saying coles-de-sac.
I'm never saying coles-de-sac. I'm never, even if it's right, I'm not doing it.
It's cul-de-sac.
I'm never doing it. I mean, how often are we talking about plural cul-de-sacs?
I know.
Or coles-de-sacs.
Coles-de-sac.
How often am I like, yeah, I was rooted through many coles-de-sacs. It's not something I speak about
Long
often.
Island has quite a few coles-de-sac.
Yeah, but I'm not chatting about coles-de-sacs a lot in the
Well,
plural.
if maybe we were talking about the geography of Long Island and we needed our new VA to know that there are coles-de-sac here.
I'm not saying that. Sorry. Never
But
saying that.
hangs out sounded funny to me. Anyway. Sorry, small tangent there. Anyway. But like, all that to say, there is a really nice boundary. And even just the other day, she realized that she does not like doing shampooing. And she felt really awful saying like, I can't do this,
Aww.
But she sent me a private message. She was like, I really hope this doesn't affect my job, but like, I really can't do it. It hurts my back and this and that. I'm so sorry. And I was like, girl, it's totally fine. But I appreciated her like letting me know and feeling, even just having those like, oh, I feel bad about it. Like, she didn't think like, oh, well, I'm a friend and so I can do whatever I want. Instead, she just really was genuine. And so
We've definitely gotten better. And I think the important thing is to make sure you set your expectations right from the get-go. Like whether you're hiring a friend or a colleague or, well, no, they are a colleague once you hire them, an acquaintance, whatever. Make sure you just set expectations right from the get-go. Have a very thorough onboarding process. We did not have that back in the day. So like we didn't have like number of absences, like a limited amount, or any kind of absentee policy. And I remember we had one girl who was absent like 14 times in 6 months or something like that. It was crazy. And so, but we didn't have a policy. So I think the most important thing is like set those expectations off the get go and do not tell them that you guys are friends. Like you are the authority, you are the business owner. Don't do it. Learn from our mistake that still haunts us today.
Yeah. And before we move away from hiring, and this could be controversial, I don't know if people will agree with me on this, but I'm going to say it. It's a mistake I learned from. If you had to fire someone, do not rehire them because I can be tempting, especially depending on the reason you fire somebody. Obviously, if somebody's dishonest or, something like that that's serious, you're not going to rehire them after firing them for something really serious. But we had a girl she was with us through all the chaos when we had all the chaotic employees, all the call outs, this and that. So compared to them, she seemed okay, but we had to fire her for some other reasons. Her availability, she was a little slow. There was just a lot of factors. We let her go.
She was a little bit of drama too.
She was drama, but compared to the drama that most of our staff caused, it didn't seem quite as bad, but the drama was there. So we gave her another chance and rehired her again, brought her in for another interview, talked with her, and I gave her another chance and rehired her. And what a mistake it was. I feel like because she was here during all the chaos, that was kind of still how she saw us.
Mm-hmm.
She still saw us as those leaders and thought that she could speak to us a certain way that she absolutely could not. And we tolerated it for far too long because Holly and I want to save people. We want to help people. We think we can change people and you just can't. So if you had to, and I'm not talking about if somebody quits and they quit amicably and then they want to come back, sure, I would absolutely rehire. There's plenty of our old employees that left on great terms that I would hire back in a heartbeat. But if you had to fire someone, do not rehire them because most people do not change.
I feel like you're letting them go for a reason. You know what I mean? Like, it's always a reason. And so we had reservations too, even when it came to rehiring her. We were nervous.
I was really on the fence. And I was like, you know what? I'm give her a chance.
Yeah, it was something for sure. But yeah, I kind of agree with that. And I do think people are going to find that one controversial.
Yeah.
But
people can change. All right. Well, they can change somewhere else.
Yeah.
Not with me.
It was no good. It was no good. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to pivot.
Okay.
So another thing that I learned, oh God, this is actually a recent mistake, a recent nightmare, but it was one that I needed to it needed to happen in order to teach myself the lesson. So a couple of maybe months ago, I think it was like a month and a half ago, we had a client in the schedule who got her initial deep cleaning and then she wanted biweekly service. And I had trouble getting in touch with her. And she reached out like maybe a week after I tried to reach out to her, but I was on a business trip. So the communication was very off. And she was, asking, oh, can I get my biweekly cleaning this week? And I said, what I wanted to say was, girl, I didn't hear from you. So no, you're not getting your biweekly cleaning this week because we don't have room for you. But I said, oh, I tried to call you, blah, 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 blah. Long story short, we ended up working it out. And I got her into the schedule for her first biweekly visit, but I did not put it in right away. Mm-hmm. And that was a problem because if I don't do something right away, it's not getting done. Like if I don't do it in real time, it's not getting done. So, or at least if I can't get to it right at that second, I need to put it somewhere. So I need to dump it into a to-do list or something where I am going to see it and it's going to get done. But long story short, I did not put it in. A couple days passed. They never showed up to the cleaning. And because I never scheduled it. And so I was mortified. Oh my gosh. It happened the day before we left for our Salem trip. And she was so upset. And Laura was dealing with it because I was like an emotional wreck because I'm like, I can't believe I dropped the ball and just never put her in for the cleaning. And she never got a cleaning. And so big lesson here. And I am still haunted to this day. Big lesson here is that if like you have to do something, like if you book a client, book an estimate, like if you're still doing in-person walkthroughs, or there's something that like you have to do right then and there, either take a break from what you're doing and do it. Or if you are in the middle of something that's important and deep and you can't, switch task like that, then put it into a parking lot where you will revisit later and make sure it gets done. Cause I didn't put it on any kind of to-do list. I was just like, oh, like I'll get to that in a little bit. And then I just didn't, because as business owners, no matter what stage of your business you are in, you are constantly being pulled in a million different directions. You've got your employees, you've got your office staff, you've got your clients, and then not to mention like just outside factors outside of the business. You've got family trying to reach out to you for things and this and that. And it's just like, you cannot keep track of it all up here. So if you cannot get to it right away, you have to put it down somewhere where you will go back to it and read it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then to make it matters worse, and I don't know if I fully regret this, but I am a little haunted by it. I felt awful about what happened and I really wanted to win her service. But at this point, I had already fumbled too hard. And I really put my faith into humanity the best I could.
Mm-hmm.
And I offered her a free cleaning. I offered her the first cleaning for free. I said, if you let us come back to biweekly service, like we'd like to give you your first cleaning for free. And she took us up on it. And then we did the first free cleaning. And then she dropped service.
She knew what she was doing. She was like, you get a free cleaning before I drop you guys? Okay.
Like, I just feel like I turned something that was an honest mistake into way more than it needed to be at that point. And so I ended up screwing us over in the process. Whereas I should have accepted defeat and accepted my mistake, and maybe not a free cleaning, maybe half off a cleaning. I don't know. There is a part of me that's like, I did the right thing. I felt awful about what I did.
I was going to say, I disagree with you. I'm not haunted by the offering her a free cleaning. No, because it could have gone either way. I think we had to shoot our shot.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people probably would have buried their head in the sand and not even reached out to try to get the service. Because basically the way the phone call ended is she was very upset. She wasn't mean, but very upset. So she was like, I have to think about it. Basically think about if she wants to work with us or not. So then we emailed her a few days later when she had cooled off and offered the free cleaning. And I don't think that was a mistake, because I think you have to shoot your shot and you have to own your mistakes. And we did that. We didn't make excuses. We just owned our mistake. We offered something to try to make it right. And then you're putting it in her hands. It's up to her if she wants to either be an honest person and say, no, I'm not interested in working with you guys, or say, oh, I can get one free cleaning before I stop working with you guys. Oh, I'm going to do that. So I don't think we did anything wrong.
You're right. You're definitely right. I feel like I'm haunted over the fact that we were clearly used and abused.
Yes, we were. And we did all we can.
And
then
she
did what she did.
Like in such a vulnerable state from forgetting from my original mistake. I was like in such a vulnerable state. So I think the nightmare that haunts me is the fact that I was so poorly, like I was so used in a time of just abuse, desperation. But the real nightmare here is the fact that I did not add it to the calendar right away. And then I forgot. So and this is not the first time I've forgotten an appointment.
Mm-hmm.
I remember many, many years ago, this was like pre-COVID, I forgot to go to an estimate. And she was upset. We actually ended up losing the opportunity because she was like, forget it. If you can't show up for an estimate, like, are you going to show up for the cleaning?
And she was a friend.
She was
an acquaintance, a friend of a friend.
She was a friend's wife, technically, now ex-wife. But either way, it was like, I was like, I cannot believe, but we weren't even working with like CRMs yet. We did not have Jobber yet.
We had no systems to not forget something.
Like it was crazy. So I feel like I did not learn my lesson after that one time. And I was also young and like, she was kind of mean. So I was like, she could stick it,
Yeah.
But now I'm like, oh gosh, this was all on me. Like I felt really awful. And so now like, if somebody is booking a service, it's going in. And if it really cannot go in, we have a channel in our Discord server that just says to dos, and I just drop it in there. Book so-and-so this date, this time. Book so-and-so this date, this time. And then I revisit that channel every day or every other day. So then I always remember to put it in. But that was a huge lesson. A huge nightmare that still haunts me to this day. Oh my gosh, the whole thing. It's still very new, which is probably why I'm so haunted by it. But like, I feel like that one I'm taking to my grave when they're like, what's your one life regret? I'm going to be like, it wasn't putting that client into the schedule.
On your deathbed, you're going to be like, ah.
I'm going to be like, why didn't I put her in?
It's so funny. I will literally jot down even, and I was just, as you guys know, we're currently training our new virtual employee, remote employee. And I was telling her the other day, I was like, listen, even like I get off the phone with a client that I'm quoting, like a lead that I'm quoting for the first time. And I will literally right away in my planner write, send quote to so-and-so. And the reason I do this and why I told her to do this is because I don't know when that phone's going to ring again.
Mm-hmm.
Like it could literally ring while I'm typing up the rest of my notes for that client, take another sales call, and then I forgot about so-and-so. Like I will write down every little thing. And I have done it. I've missed estimates. I'll never forget. I got a text one time. I was like cooking dinner and I got a text from an estimate when we still did walkthroughs that was like, are you coming? And I was like, yeah, I'll be right there. Thank God she was close, but I literally
don't
got
remember that
yeah.
one. Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Yeah, there's another one from back like literally our first year in business that it was when Holly and I were doing walkthroughs together because we thought we thought everything was a 2-person job. And we did walkthroughs together.
So tight.
So tight. Couldn't go anywhere without you. I'm like, well, how am I going to do the pricing if Holly doesn't also help me with the pricing? Like, I can't figure it out myself. But we didn't go to an estimate, and she texted and was very gracious and allowed us to come late. And she's still a client to this day. So some people will give you a second chance, which is why I don't think we did anything wrong by offering the free cleaning, because some people are really, really gracious with giving second chances.
You're going to need to tell me who that was after we're done recording. I can't
I'll
remember.
tell you as soon as we're done.
I can't
I'll
remember.
tell you as soon as we're done.
My brain is mush
give you a
lately, to
hint.
be fair. Oh, that's right.
The client made me this cup. That's how sweet she is. We forgot to go to her estimate and she made us
I mean,
cups.
in that case, we can shout her out. She's amazing.
Yeah.
We just love her. But
We love
either,
her.
yeah, regardless.
She's a very
I don't remember
gracious
forgetting.
person.
I don't remember forgetting to go there.
Because it was so long ago. It was like 7 years ago.
That's
At this
crazy.
point, yes, I still remember.
That is,
as you can see, things still haunt us to this day.
Ooh, I mean, clearly that one didn't haunt me, but
I know. Holly's like, I'm just thinking about the schedule.
I'm just thinking about this other client that I forgot.
Oh my gosh. Well, I can match your thing because okay, so Holly's level of mortification was very on par with my level of mortification. I think it's because you're losing a client. And it's so funny because when Holly made the mistake or whatever with the schedule, she was beating herself up. And I was like, it happens. We're human. We make mistakes, like trying to reassure her that it was okay. But when I make mistakes, I can't do that for myself.
End of the world.
I'm like, you're a piece of shit. You're stupid. You're like, I don't know.
Failure.
You're a failure. So a few years ago, I learned a really big lesson from this one. One of our regular clients wanted to add on an interior oven, and our interior oven cleanings are pretty expensive because it's very time consuming. It's one of the hardest things to clean. So I said, no problem. I told her the price. She was like, wow, that's really high. That's way higher than I expected. Now, if somebody had said that to me, I would just say, oh, I totally understand. Do you still want to add it on today? If not, no worries. I would just, make them feel validated. Yeah, it's high. Back then, I was a little defensive Sally and explained why it's so much. I went into all this detail. I over-explained, well, ovens they take a lot of time and this and that. We need heavy-duty products and blah, 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 blah. I didn't think I was being rude. She took it as I was being rude.
I don't think you were being rude either. I just need to interject. I don't think you were being rude either. I think there was another mistake that happened, which I'll let you finish your story and then I'll give you my 2 cents.
Yes. And I will give this client grace. She was dealing with a lot. She was dealing with a sick mom. So I always want to give people grace in the situations of they're stressed. And when somebody is stressed, they can take things out on other humans. Not that it makes it right, but I'm going to say that there was a lot of factors where I do think that this client was going through a lot. So I'll give her some grace. But either way, she thought I was being rude to the point where she literally told the employee that was assigned there that I'm nasty, I'm rude, blah, 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 this and that. And then she had texted about, which I guess Holly you can go into, because then when she had texted to bring another issue to me, instead of taking a breath and calming down, I was upset and I responded right away, made all these typos, didn't proofread it. When I'm flustered, I need to take a minute. And that's my advice to you. Take a minute, and breathe. Because I was like, and made all these typos and mistakes and errors and this and that. And was just, again, like so defensive. Like, why am I being defensive? I don't have to explain anything. Our prices are what they are. Situations happen. And that is the biggest takeaway. Even on sales calls now, I get price aversion all the time. And I'll explain why we are priced the way we are, but in a very calm, short and sweet, non-defensive way. And that is the biggest lesson I learned from that whole situation.
Well, I think just putting my 2 cents in here, I think another huge lesson that was a huge takeaway from this is that certain things should not be in text message.
Yes.
So like, she was not happy about the price. You explained it. And to you, you're saying, well, we take a lot of time with these. We supply our own products, blah, blah, blah. She might have read it as, well, we take a lot of time on these and supply our own products. So, blah, 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 blah.
Yes. You can't read
You
tone.
cannot read tone. That's why when you're on a sales call, you're able to get a little defensive because you're on a call.
Yes.
They can hear that tone of yours that I am explaining this for you, not to defend me.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, I fully agree with you on that.
So I think that, I think some things just need to be a phone call.
Yes.
They just need to. And so in this case, like it probably should have been a phone call, and same with the situation. There was sometimes like things just snowball and it gets crazy. But this particular client, there was an issue with the cleaning itself. Like she was cleaning for the client's mom and the mom was telling the technician to do something different from what she told us. Why we didn't think to call her and clarify
Another
is
big
beyond
mistake.
me. I don't know why we didn't call her and say, she is telling her not to clean the bathroom or whatever it was.
That's what it was, yeah.
And, and she doesn't. And instead we just told her, well, no, you can't clean the bathroom. Yeah. And then we didn't tell her.
Yeah. There was no communication.
There was no communication.
At all.
Like the level of communication on that was so bad. And I just think there could have been so many phone calls or even text messages. But I think for her, like she was already a little sensitive about the oven situation. I think a phone call would have been necessary. And I think it could have saved us.
No, I think so
I think it could have
too.
saved the client. I really do.
think so too. I think a phone call absolutely could have saved the client. And I think better communication overall could have saved the client because I think it was just snowballing. Like she was already upset because she misconstrued my text message. Then we didn't communicate something to her that she was like, I don't understand why you wouldn't communicate this to me. At that point, I should have picked up the phone and talked through everything with her and just explained it. And that's why whenever there's something serious, we always say, hey, can we hop on a phone call? Whenever a client is giving feedback that's pretty serious, instead of just, because most people will reach out through email, text, we say, thank you so much for this feedback. Can we hop on a phone call?
Yep.
And we do the same thing with our texts too. Whenever we're giving them feedback, we oftentimes don't type it up. We actually send them a voice memo. We send them a voice memo so that they can hear our tone. They can clearly see that we are not mad. You're not in trouble. We're just relaying this feedback so that you learn and grow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I hate text personally. I hate it because you can't read tones.
Yeah.
That's like how Holly thinks that sure. We have the sure debate all the time.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
The sure debate.
Listen, if somebody texts you sure, SURE, nothing else, just SURE. How are you reading it? How are you reading that?
Sure.
No, I'm reading it as sure. Sure.
I literally don't understand.
Sure. Like if you're saying sure, then you put an exclamation point on that bitch.
Yeah, but what if I'm in a rush? I don't have time to put that exclamation point.
No, that's not an excuse.
Oh my gosh.
It's not an excuse.
I think one time I was typing to Holly and I said sure, and I realized I forgot the exclamation point, and then I sent it after the fact. So
You
I was
did.
Like, this bitch gonna think I'm mad at her.
I was upset. I was like, oh no, what have I done? So yeah, no, I can't. Like text message is just a no. Some things need to be a phone call. And this, again, as Laura said, this is the case with your staff too. Like it's easy to just text. And I see it all the time in all the cleaning groups I'm in.
All the time.
I'm like, oh, you should be calling this person. Like, what are you doing? So just keep that in mind. Like some things just need to be a text and there are ways to handle all different kinds of scenarios. But hearing that soft tone of your voice is going to be the best way to diffuse any kind of situation.
Yeah, a lot of lessons learned with that one. But your girl was a mess. She was crying. So that's why I'm like, it's so funny. Like, I think another good lesson to learn from this is give yourself grace. I'm not saying don't hold yourself accountable for mistakes. You want to always hold yourself accountable and learn from your mistakes, but it's also not going to help to beat yourself up.
Yeah.
Treat yourself the way you would a friend. When
Yeah.
Holly and I make mistakes in the business, we are so gracious with each other. We never make each other feel bad, and we comfort each other. We don't do that for ourselves. And I think a lot more people need to be more gracious with ourselves, because we're gracious with our employees when they make mistakes. They're never in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
We had like 80 million breakages last week. Was anybody in trouble? Did anybody have to pay?
They should have
They were in
been.
trouble. Never mind. Too
should
soon.
have been.
Too soon. Too soon.
They're getting costly now.
It is getting a little costly.
Oh, I just had to replace a $50 picture frame.
Yeah, I know.
Could
I'm
roll
like,
up.
I buy picture frames at the Dollar Tree. Who's buying $50
Well,
picture
to be
frames?
fair, this one was huge. It was a huge picture frame.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
So, you know, but
That's fair.
still, I'm like, oh,
I know.
my heart.
I know. But yeah, learn from your mistakes and be gracious
Yeah.
about them.
I can't think of, I had another one, but now it's gone.
I know. I
It's
was
out of
going to
my
say,
brain.
I'm sure that we've made many more, but I also cannot think of
there's
any.
just been so many throughout the course of our business, but like, I would say those are, there is one actually, and this is minor, but I'll wrap it up with this one. But it's something that like now we changed how we do it, and it's good now, right? So we had, and I'm sorry, the sun is in my eyes so
I was
bad.
going to say, your eyes are glowing.
I'm like,
you're
I cannot
blue
see.
eyed goddess.
Thank
you look
you.
like a mermaid.
Thank you so much. I just wish I could maybe hold on. I'm coming further this way, guys. I apologize. If you're watching the video, you're gonna be like, what's homegirl doing? I can't. Okay, hold on. I'm adjusting. Okay. Now I'm like just getting closer and closer to Laura as the episode goes on, but we're going to wrap it up anyway. We're going to be quick. Okay. So the last one that I have here, and this was maybe a year or two ago, probably 2 years ago. We sent Steve, who's one of our cleaning technicians, to a deep cleaning. And I don't remember if he was supposed to meet somebody there, if he was going by himself, but it was an initial deep cleaning. She booked the service, agreed to the date, didn't cancel. Everything was fine, whatever. And Steve went to the job, and we were using Jobber at the time. I remember we were using Jobber. So she got the confirmation. Yeah. And Steve knocked on the door, and he was like, I'm here to clean. And she was like, no, you're not. And he was like, yes, I am. And she was like, no, I don't want it anymore. And she just literally sent him away from this initial deep cleaning. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure we tried to get in touch with her, and like to no avail. Yeah. And I was like, what the actual F? Like, now he's out of a ton of money, and we have no ways to pay him. Like, we have no way we had no way to collect a cancellation fee. There was no way, because back then we didn't keep credit cards on file, and we didn't collect deposits. And so we were just out money. Like, and I'm pretty sure we had to pay him first time. We probably did, because it was not his fault that he was out of job. And so immediately after that, we were like, no more. And we immediately started collecting credit cards on file, and we mandate it now. And back then we had different payment options. So we were like, it doesn't matter if you pay by check or pay cash, we still need a card on file. Now we don't even accept cash checks, but regardless. And the deposit was like a big thing. We were nervous. We were like, people are not going to want to pay a 50% deposit. Like, on a $500 cleaning, that's $250 up front. On a $1,000 cleaning, that's $500 up front. We were like, there's no way. We have not had one person push back on the deposit since we implemented it, though. Right?
No, not one
even
person. We have had every once in a while, I'll get pushback on the credit card on file. I'll have people that say, I don't feel comfortable leaving a credit card on file. And certain things I will, allow people to, I'll make exceptions for certain things, but this is one that I do not make exceptions for. If you're not comfortable leaving a credit card on file, and I reassure them you're using a very safe CRM, I'm not just using some like off-brand credit card reader or whatever. I reassure them, and I understand the fear of, and people always say it's not because I don't trust you, it's just that I don't trust technology. I get that, but if you're not willing to, you're not the company for us, because we have had it where we have had people have service with us and not pay. We have somebody to this day who is still not paid for like 3 cleanings, and we're out hundreds of dollars because we didn't have a credit card on file. So it's just something that we're not willing to budge with.
Yeah. And now, like, if someone was to show up to an initial deep cleaning and they turn them away, they're out the deposit. It's a non-refundable deposit. That's not right. It's not fair unless there was some kind of absolute, total, terrible emergency. Obviously, we're human. We would consider that. But we would that's his money then. He's getting paid. And so, but because we charge the deposit now, we haven't had that happen.
No, we haven't.
You know, nobody, and that might have been the first time that ever happened though, and definitely the last. But like, it was a really like instant learning lesson for us. But it's funny because it still does kind of haunt me to this day because I'm like, I can't believe he got turned away from a job. Like, what the hell? Like, I'm still like, I can't believe that happened.
I know, so rude. Like, so like, who are you?
Yeah. So lesson learned there, like lesson to keep in mind is that you should be, if you're brand new and you're collecting checks and cash, which honestly, I don't even recommend checks because checks bounce and there's, situations there. But if you're like collecting cash, get that up front. Do not wait until the cleaning is over. And realistically, I don't even recommend that because if you're using a CRM like Jobber and you're collecting deposits and cards on file, you are saving yourself because hear me when I say this, friends. But if you are a solo cleaner or if you have one helper or whatever, and you are not collecting deposits and not having cards on file, and then you go to a house and they turn you away, you are out of money that day.
Yeah.
You are out of a job that day. It's going to be really hard for you to get on the computer or get on Facebook and say, I had a cancellation this morning. I need to fill my schedule. And if you have a bill due, like a credit card bill or something, you're out of luck.
Yeah.
So consider something like Jobber because it'll allow you to collect the deposits, collect the cards on file, and you are safe. If you get turned away from a job, you have that money and that is yours to keep. And obviously just make sure you make it known that it's a non-refundable deposit. Of course, there's, you have to have that in your terms and conditions and all of that stuff. But regardless, protect yourself. Protect yourself and don't wait until you get there because people are going to forget to leave the cash out, forget to leave the check out. Then all of a sudden you're chasing down payments or they're going to try to dodge you because hear from me, people try to take advantage of small business owners all the time. And I hate to say that I really believe the best in most people, but there are going to be people who might try to take advantage of you and you need to make sure you're protected.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And it's all in the way that you present it. If you're ever afraid, if you hear this and you're like, oh my God, I could never ask for deposits. I could never ask for a credit card on file. It's just about the way that you deliver the information. If you're speaking to somebody and you're like, is it okay if I charge you 50% deposit? Like, obviously they're going to be questioning it. But if you just say, this is what's required to book and get on our calendar, very casual, very matter of fact, you're fine. They're not going to think twice. Most businesses do.
Yep.
It's all about asking with confidence, not even asking, explaining with confidence.
Yes.
And you'll be Gucci.
Completely agree.
Yeah.
We have to wrap this up immediately because I can't see.
Okay. Well, that's all right. Because we after revisiting all these horror stories, I'm ready to go.
Take a break.
Take a breather. Yes, I'm overwhelmed. No, it was good. I really think this episode was good. I would love it if you guys would be willing to anonymously share some of your horror stories, some of your mistakes so that we can learn from them.
And maybe share them on the podcast.
Yes.
I think we should go for part 2. If you want a part 2, if you're listening to this on Google or Spotify, they allow comments now. I want you to comment a ghost emoji if you want a part 2.
Yes, if you want.
And if you're listening on like Apple or somewhere where you can comment, then you need to go find us at Hustle Haven LLC on Instagram, and in the episode announcement, put the ghost emoji.
Yes, we can absolutely do a part 2. We can share some of your stories.
I think that would be great. What nightmares still haunt you to this day that you learned from, and turn it into a teachable moment for our audience. They would love to hear it. They're tired of listening to just us. I don't know. I don't think that's true, but still, we would love to share your stories as well. But honestly, if you want to share something and you don't want us to share it on the pod, just let us know. We respect privacy. You don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this has been fun. We're going to wrap this up and we will see you next week.
Bye.